Welcome to the 11th standard zoology class, unit 2, chapter 4, organ and organ system in animals. Last class we learnt about the morphology of earthworm, anatomy, digestive system, respiratory system and circulatory system. So this class we are going to learn about the nervous system of earthworm, excretory system, reproductive system of male and female and life cycle. So first we will see about the nervous system. In the earthworm, the nervous system is very primitive and simple. So it consists of a bilobed mass of nervous tissue, which is present in the third segment, So above the pharynx, a bilobed mass of nervous tissue present in the third segment, above the pharynx, so that is called as a suprapharyngeal ganglion, a mass of a bilobed nervous tissue found in the third segment above the pharynx, that is called as a suprapharyngeal ganglion. Then below the pharynx, so this is the pharynx, below the pharynx there is a mass of nerve tissue, that is called as a subpharyngeal ganglion, So this suprapharyngeal ganglion, it acts as a brain. It is act as a brain. A bilobed mass of nervous tissue found in the third segment above the pharynx, that is called as a suprapharyngeal ganglion. It is called as a brain. A mass of nervous tissue found below the pharynx, that is called as a subpharyngeal ganglion. Then this suprapharyngeal ganglion, subpharyngeal ganglion, it is connected by the pair of ring, that is called as a circumpharyngeal connectives, It's very simple and easy, no need to memorize anything. So a ganglion found above the pharynx is called as a suprapharyngeal ganglion. Below the pharynx, that is called as a subpharyngeal ganglion. It is connected by the nervous ring, it is connected by the nervous tissue, that is called as a circumpharyngeal connective, A double ventral nerve cord arises from the subpharyngeal ganglion. The double ventral nerve cord arises from the subpharyngeal ganglion. A bilobed mass of nervous tissue above the pharynx, that is known as what? Suprapharyngeal ganglion. Below the pharynx, that is known as what? Subpharyngeal ganglion. It is connected by the circumpharyngeal connectives. The double ventral nerve cord arises from the subpharyngeal ganglion. So it forms a nerve ring at the anterior end of the alimentary canal. So here this nerve, it helps in the sensory inputs and it commands the muscular responses of the body. It's very simple. So the subpharyngeal ganglion is present in the fourth segment. See it once again. A bilobed mass ganglion, a bilobed mass of nervous tissue, that is known as what? Suprapharyngeal ganglion. Below the pharynx, that is known as what? Subpharyngeal ganglion. This suprapharyngeal ganglion, it acts as a brain. This suprapharyngeal ganglion is connected to the subpharyngeal ganglion by circumpharyngeal connectives. So it forms a nerve ring at the anterior end of the alimentary canal. The double ventral nerve cord arises from the subpharyngeal ganglion. So where the suprapharyngeal ganglion is located? In the third segment. The subpharyngeal ganglion is located in the fourth segment. It helps in the sensory inputs and commands the muscular responses of the body. So next we learn about the receptors of the earthworm. So these receptors are stimulated by a group of slender columnar cells which are connected with nerves. So the first one is an photoreceptors. So photo means what? Sense of light. Photo means what? Sense of light. It's present on the dorsal surface of the body. Then a gustatory, sense of taste. Gustatory means what? Sense of taste. Olfactory, sense of smell. This gustatory and olfactory is located on the buccal cavity. Is located on the buccal cavity. Then a tactile is a sense of touch. Then a chemoreceptors, it is responses to the chemical responses. It is response to the chemical changes. Then this thermoreceptors is a sense of heat. That is a receptors which are stimulator or response to the heat. That is known as what? Thermoreceptors. So it is presented on the prostomium and body wall. What is the first receptor? Photoreceptor. Photo means what? Light. So these receptors are present on the dorsal surface of the body. Then a gustatory. Gustatory means what? Taste. Then olfactory, sense of smell. So this gustatory receptors and olfactory receptors are present on the buccal cavity. Then a tactile receptors. So this tactile means what? Touch. Sense of touch. Chemo means what? Response to the chemical changes. Then a thermo means what? Response to the heat. All these tactile receptors, chemoreceptors, thermoreceptors are located on the prostomium and body wall. Next we learn about the excretory system of the earthworm. So what is excretion? The process of elimination of metabolic waste products from the body is called as excretion. What is excretion? The process of elimination of metabolic waste products from the body is called as excretion. So in the earthworm, this excretion is done by the nephridia. The excretion is taken by the nephridia. There are three types of nephridia are present. First one is a pharyngeal nephridium. See the picture. The first one is a pharyngeal nephridium. So it is otherwise known as what? Tufted nephridium. It is otherwise known as what? Tufted nephridium. Is present from the 5th to the 9th segment. Is present from the 5th to the 9th segment. Then a second nephridia is a micronephridia. See the picture. Second one is a micronephridia. It is otherwise called as a integumentary nephridia. It is otherwise called as a integumentary nephridia. It is present from the 14th segment onwards. It is present from the 14th segment to the last segment. There are three types of nephridia. What is the first one? Pharyngeal nephridium, or it is otherwise known as what? Tufted nephridia. Is present from the 5th to the 9th segment. The second one is a micronephridia or integumentary nephridia. Is present from the 14th to the last segment. Then third one is a meganephridium. See the picture. Third one is a meganephridium. It is otherwise known as septal nephridia. It is otherwise known as a septal nephridia. It is present from the 19th segment to the last segment. Present from the 19th segment to the last segment. What are three types of nephridia? Pharyngeal nephridia, micronephridia, meganephridium or septal nephridia. So why it is called as a septal nephridia? Because this nephridia present in between the segments. Present in between the segments. It is known as what? Meganephridium or septal nephridia. It has three divisions. See the picture. So it has a central opening. It has a central opening, funnel-like opening. This opening is called as a nephrostome. It is called as a nephrostome. It is ciliated. See the yellow one. It is ciliated. The meganephridia has a central funnel-like opening. This opening is known as what? Nephrostome. This opening is known as what? Nephrostome. It is ciliated. Then here, it has three divisions on the body. The first one is a ciliated region. The first one is a ciliated. Then the second one is a glandular. See the second one, glandular. And the third one is a muscular. Third one is a muscular region. So it has three divisions. First one is a ciliated region. Second one is a glandular. Third one is a muscular. So here this nephrostome, this first region, the nephrostome is present in the proceeding segment. It is present in the proceeding segment. that is in the first segment. The remaining segments, the remaining regions are present on the succeeding segments. The remaining regions are present on the succeeding or the following segments, because it is present in between the segments, hence it is known as what? Septal nephridia. So the main function of the cilia, it collects the waste from the body and opens into the muscular region. The ciliated region collects the waste from the body and pushes the waste into where? Pushes the waste into the muscular region. So this glandular region, it extracts the waste from the blood and opens into the nephridia. It collects the waste from the blood and opens into the nephridia. So the ciliator collects the waste from the body, and where it pushes into the muscular region. The glandular region, it collects or extracts the waste from the blood and opens into the nephridia. Besides this nephridia, there is a special type of cells which is found on the intestine, that is called as Chlorogen cells. That is called as what? Chlorogen cells. There is a special type of cells apart from the nephridia. These cells are known as what? Chlorogen cells. It is where it is present. It is present on the intestine. It collects the waste from the intestinal wall and opens into the nephridia. So, it's a 2-mark question. Besides the nephridia, there are special type of cells which are found on the dorsal wall of the intestine, that is known as what? Chlorogen cells. It collects the waste from the intestine and finally this wastes are drains into the nephridia. Is it clear? So what is excretion? The process of elimination of metabolic waste products from the body is known as what? Excretion. In the earthworm, it is done by the nephridia. There are 3 types of nephridia: pharyngeal nephridium, micronephridium and meganephridium. So where the pharyngeal nephridium is present? From the 5th to the 9th segment. Micronephridium from the 14th to the last segment. Then this meganephridium from the 19th to the last segment. So it has a funnel-like opening. This funnel-like opening is known as what? Nephrostome. It is ciliate. It is lined by the cilia. Then it has 3 regions: ciliated, glandular and muscular. The ciliated collects the waste and pushes into the muscular. The glandular collects the waste and drains into the nephridia. Besides this nephridia, there are special type of muscles, special type of waste cells, that is known as what? Chlorogen cells. It collects the waste from the intestine and opens into the nephridia. Then next we will learn about the reproductive system of the earthworm. So in the earthworm, it is a hermaphrodite. What is a hermaphrodite? If both the male and the female sex organs are present in the same individual, then it is known as what? Hermaphrodite or monoecious. Then what is a dioecious? If the sexes are separated, then it is known as what? Dioecious. If the sexes are united together in the same individual, then it is known as what? Monoecious or hermaphrodite. So here in the earthworm, it is a hermaphrodite. What is a hermaphrodite? If both the male and the female sex organs are seen in the same individual, then it is known as what? Hermaphrodite or monoecious. Here, then to avoid the self-fertilization, here the protandrous takes place. So what is a protandrous? If the sperms mature earlier than the ovum, to avoid the self-fertilization, because both the testes and ovum are present in the same individual. To avoid the self-fertilization, here how the cross fertilization takes place means, here the sperm, that is the sperms and the ovum mature at the different times. The sperms mature earlier than the ovum, that is known as what? Protandrous. Say that protandrous. It's a 2-mark question. What is a protandrous? The sperms mature earlier than the ovum, that is known as what? Protandrous. Then the cross fertilization takes place. So what is the first one? It is a hermaphrodite. Both the male and the female sex organs are present in the same individual. What is a protandrous? The sperms mature earlier than the ovum, then it is known as what? Protandrous. Then the cross fertilization takes place. See the first one, see the green color one. A pair of testes are present in the 10th and the 11th segment. A pair of testes are present in the 10th and the 11th segment. Then here this testis give rise to the germ cells or the spermatogonia. The testis give rise to the germ cells or the spermatogonia, and here this spermatogonia produces the sperms in the funnel-shaped ciliary roses, that is a seminal vesicle. The testis give rise to the germ cells or the spermatogonia. This spermatogonia, the germ cells give rise to the spermatozoa. It give rise to the spermatozoa or the sperm. So here, see here the funnel-shaped one, the yellow color one, the funnel-shaped one. This is called as a ciliary roses. It is known as what? Ciliary roses. Then this funnel-shaped structures of the seminal vesicle are joined by a long tube that is called as a vas deferens. The funnel-shaped structures of the seminal vesicle are joined by a long tube that is called as a vas deferens. So this vas deferens opens to the outside through the male genital pore, which is present in the 18th segment, The male genital pore is present on the 18th segment. And then a pair of, see the blue color one, a pair of prostate gland is present. And here the main function of the prostate gland is to cement or to bundle the spermatozoa, or the sperms in the bundles. So that is known as what? Spermatophores. So what is a spermatophores? If the sperms are in the bundles, the secretion of the prostate gland, it serves to cement or bundle the sperms together. That is known as what? Spermatophores. Then this male genital pore, it has two pairs of pineal setae which helps in the copulation. See, this is the pineal setae which helps in the copulation. So what is a copulation? A deposition of the sperm in the female reproductive tract, that is called as a copulation. It's very simple. See the picture and say the answer. So what is the first one? It is a hermaphrodite. What is a hermaphrodite? If both the male and the female sex organs are present in the same individual, then it is known as what? Hermaphrodite. To avoid the self-fertilization, the sperm and ova mature at the different times. If the sperms mature earlier than the ova, then it is known as what? Protandrous. A pair of testes. This testis produces the germ cells or the spermatogonia, which give rise to the spermatozoa. So the spermatozoa are present in the funnel-shaped structure. This is called as a ciliary rosettes, which are connected by a long tube that is called as a vas deferens. Then this vas deferens opens to the exterior through the male genital pore, which is present on the 18th segment. Then this male genital pore has two pairs of pineal setae for copulation. A pair of prostate gland is present. The secretion of the prostate gland helps to cement the sperms in the bundle, that is known as what? Spermatophores. Next we will learn about the female reproductive system. So here, see here the blue color one, a pair of ovaries are present, which are present on the 13th segment. So each ovary has a finger-like projections. These finger-like projections are known as what? Ovarian funnels. The finger-like projections are known as what? Ovarian funnels. It contains a ova or the egg which opens into the pair of oviduct, which is present on the 14th segment, where the female genital pore is present. A pair of ovaries are present on the 13th segment. Each ovary has a finger-like projections, that is known as what? Ovarian funnels, which contains a ova or the egg which opens into the oviduct, that is it opens to the female genital pore, which is present on the 14th segment. See here the orange color one, see the picture. A three pairs, 1, 2, 3, on the both the side it is present. A three pairs of spermatheca or the seminal vesicles. Are present. So here it is three pairs, then present in the 6th, 7th and the 8th segment, which opens to the interior on the ventral side between the 6 and 7, 7 and 8 and 8 and 9. A three pairs of spermatheca or seminal vesicles are present. on the 6, 7 and the 8 segment, which opens to the ventral side between the 6 and 7, 7 and 8 and 8 and 9. So the main function of the spermatheca to collect the sperms and during the copulation. So what is the main function of the spermatheca? To collect the sperms. What is a copulation? When the sperms are deposited in the female reproductive tract, that is called as a copulation. Then here, during the mating, a mature worms, that is male and the female, each one has to mate in the juxtaposing, that is the opposite gonadal function. So each worm, a mature worm, has to exchange the sperms with each other. See here, what is a juxtaposer? It is a mouth, then anus. Opposite means what? Anus and the mouth, that is opposite gonadal openings. Yeah, mature worms has to find the partner to exchange the sperms with each other. So the mate in the juxtaposing means what? Opposite gonadal openings to exchange the sperms. Then a mature egg cells, the mature egg cells are present in the cocoons, which are secreted by the gland cells of the clitellum, which collects the sperms and keep it as a storage for population. A mature egg cells are deposited in the cocoons secreted by the gland cells of the clitellum. What is a clitellum? From the 14 to 17 segments, there is a swollen thick glandular thickening, that is known as what? Clitellum. It helps to receive the sperms during the copulation. And here the fertilization and the development takes place within the cocoon. So these cocoons are deposited in the soil for fertilization as well as for the development. So here, after about 2 to 3 weeks, each cocoon emerges outside and give rise to the baby earthworms. And here the development is a direct development. So what is a direct development? The young ones develops into the adult without any larval stages. That is known as what? Direct development. Next we'll see about the life cycle of the earthworm. See here, the mature worms mate with each other, that is in the juxtaposing. Juxtaposing means what? Opposite gonadal openings. The eggs are held in the cocoons in the protective case, and after 15 days of incubation, these cocoons, the eggs, hatches into the juveniles. Juvenile means what? Young ones. So this juveniles undergoes the first growth phase between the 14 to 18 days, and it forms as a non-clitellate form. See here, after the mating, the eggs are held in a protective case, that is known as what? Cocoon. After the incubation period of about 15 days, it hatches into the juvenile ones. Juvenile is nothing but the young ones. So this juvenile, it undergoes the growth phase 1. For about 14 to 18 days and forms as a non-clitellate form. Then this non-clitellate form undergoes the growth phase 2 between the 15 to 17 days, and it turns into the clitellate form. First, the juvenile forms undergoes the growth phase 1 and forms as a non-clitellate form. Again, this non-clitellate form undergoes the growth phase 2 and forms as a clitellate form. So this clitellate form, after the maturation, undergoes the mating and produces the cocoons. These cocoons are shed in the soil, and for about 10 days it forms as a cocoon, and from the cocoon the young ones are formed as a juveniles. Again the growth phase 1, growth phase 2, clitellate form, and again the reproductive form. So the life cycle is a continuous one, and here the life cycle of the earthworm, it takes about 60 days to complete it. It's very simple and easy. First mating, cocoon, juvenile, growth phase 1, non-clitellate form, growth phase 2, clitellate form. After the clitellation, because here the sperms are received, and here the mating takes place in the juxtaposing, that is opposite gonadal openings. So this class we learnt about the nervous system of earthworm, suprapharyngeal ganglion, subpharyngeal ganglion, circumpharyngeal connectives, double ventral nerve cord, then receptors, photoreceptors, tactile receptors, chemoreceptors, thermoreceptors, olfactory and gustatory. Then excretory system, types of nephridia, meganephridia, micronephridia and pharyngeal nephridium. Then a male reproductive system, female reproductive system and life cycle of earthworm. So the most important thing, the important organs are present in the first 28 segment, the first 20 segments of the earthworm. So if the anterior part is cut off, it can able to regenerate the posterior one. So if the posterior part is cut off, it cannot able to regenerate the anterior part because the most important organs are present from the first up to the 28 segments of the earthworm. So the value what we learned from this lesson, when life throws you a few breaks, be ready to bounce back. We all will be broken a time or two in life. Earthworm teaches us life is not about the times you stumble, but how gracefully you can get back and continue on. Thank you, children.